Hi, Martin here. I'd like to share a fascinating puzzle involving handshakes at a dinner party. I first encountered this handshakes puzzle during my high school years, 1974 to 1978. It was one of the weekly puzzles published in the Sunday Times during the period 1974 to 1979. It is amazing what can be deduced from the supplied information, as you'll find out if you hang till the end. And who is this fellow shaking hands with my wife in the adjoining room? No worries, we'll find out. We'll find out. My wife and I attended a dinner at which there were just 4 other couples, namely Mr. and Mrs. Akron, Mr. and Mrs. Besson, Mr. and Mrs. Carolus, and Mr. and Mrs. Dawson. Introductions were made and a certain number of handshakes took place. But, of course, no one shook hands with him or herself, nor with his or her spouse, nor more than once with anyone else. At the end of the evening, I asked each other person how many hands they had shaken, and I was surprised to find that all the answers given were different. Also, the total number of handshakes made by the other 4 men was the same as the total of handshakes made by all 5 women. The only woman I shook hands with was my old friend Mrs. Akron. We had a good chat, and then I took her to one side, and being a jealous fellow, I asked her whose hands my wife had shaken. She was unable to tell me, but luckily I was able to work it out later from the above information. Hands did my wife shake? And how many hands did Mrs. Akron shake? Right now, if you would like to take a crack at a solution for this fascinating problem, please pause the video. There are obviously more than one way of tackling this problem. I've tried a few, and the best one for this video purpose is a geometric graph theory type of solution. We shall construct nodes to represent each person and identify each node by the unique number of handshakes that person makes. The handshakes shall be represented by lines connecting one node to another node. And lastly, we shall color code the lines for easier visuals. Here goes. Right, let's place the nodes starting with 8, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, me, and of course 0. All 10 have been placed. Now let's connect the lines. We'll go clockwise starting from 8. These are all the handshakes for 8. 4, 6, 3, 7. Me. 2, 1, and 5. Then we'll do likewise for 7, going clockwise from me to 5, and then we'll go to 6, and complete its handshakes. And then of course 5. And that sets up a whole set. The marriage rule states that no one shakes hands with their partners. Therefore, all we have to do is look and see with whom each of the parties do not shake hands. Let's start with number 8. Using this rule, 8 and 0 obviously goes together. Then 7 and 1 would go together. 6 paired up with 2. 5 paired up with 3. And Hobson's choice, me and number 4. And this actually concludes the graphical setup. Now we can start our analysis using the rules that were mentioned right up front. Therefore, my wife and I shake the same number of hands with the exact same people. As the only woman I shook hands with was Mrs. Akron, this means that my wife shook hands with Mr. Besson, Mr. Carolus, and Mr. Dawson. And that answers the first question. Now, the total number of handshakes, counting the handshakes by each person, is 40. There are 20 lines on the graph, so that's 20 times 2. Furthermore, it is given that the total number of handshakes by the other 4 men, M, equals the number of handshakes by all the women. But this statement excludes my handshakes, which is 4. So M plus W equals 40 minus 4, which equals 36. Alternatively, the sum of everyone else but me equals 36, i.e. the sum of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is 36. Furthermore, M equals W, therefore M must equal 18. Now I shake hands with 5, 6, 7, and 8, which must include 3 of these men. But the sum of any 3 of the set of 5, 6, 7, and 8 is greater than and equal to 18. In fact, the only triple equal to 18 is 5, 6, and 7. Therefore, 5, 6, and 7 and 0 must be men. Which means, beautifully, Mrs. Akron is 8. And that answers the second question. Wow, isn't that amazing? No worries, it took me a while to work this out as well. But what an incredible puzzle, given the information. Wow. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Please like and subscribe if you want to receive more of these puzzles. Thank you.